I think I have finally perfected my base. So here is a very detailed tutorial on how I do my makeup that nobody really asked for in particular, but I'm gonna deliver it anyway. I was really in my Farrah Fawcett bag this day with the hair. You couldn't tell me nothing, but I clipped it back and started off with my Hydro Grip Primer by e.l.f. This is such an inexpensive primer, but it really makes the difference. Makeup just be stuck when you use it. And then I went in my curve case and started off with my bronzer. I don't have a particular order of how I do my bronzer and contour, but that's definitely the first things I start off with and sculpt my nose and my cheeks. And then I go in with my blush. This is the Rare Beauty blush. I love how pigmented this blush is. And I try to keep my blush above my cheekbones just because I have a longer face. So to make it less elongated, I always try to keep my products like my blush and my bronzer and my contour above. And then I go into my curve case, which if you know how much I love this curve case. It is everything. And I do blush on my nose, my cheeks, honestly everywhere. I bring my blush up to blend in with my bronzer. I heavily suffer from blush blindness, but I don't see this as a bad thing because my face always eats even with this condition. And then I go in with my NARS concealer. This is something that I've been using since high school. It blends so nicely on my face, and I always spray my Max Fix Plus. And this is what I'm working with now, and I start blending after like a few minutes of letting it set. I blend with smaller brushes when it comes to my concealer because I really want to get in every corner, and I always bring my concealer up to go on my nose. As you can see, I'm just dabbing and moving my brush up a little bit. I really take my time blending my concealer out, making sure that it is diffused nicely into the blush and the bronzer so that my face doesn't have any lines, any fine creases. That is my biggest thing, is making sure my face looks very cohesive and there's no harsh like lines anywhere. This is how my face usually looks when I'm finished with that step. And then I go in with a BB cream. I do not use foundation. I've used this Black Radiance BB cream for years and it has never failed me. I take my time blending it out, and I always blend the bronzer and the blush on the sides into the BB cream, and I do my nose as well. I really do my nose because I usually go back in with powder to make sure the reverse contour is defined, and I also do my lighter concealer. The LA Girl Pro Concealer is the one I'm using here, and then I go with my powders. This is probably my second favorite step. I'm using the Laura Mercier powder, and the Fenty Beauty is the one I go in with after. I always start with the Laura Mercier because it's lighter, and I just lightly dab into the creases of my eyes and my nose. This is something that I take my time on because I want to make sure my powder doesn't look too blotchy, and I always wipe some of the powder on my hand first before I go in, and this is usually what it looks like. I then go in again with the Fenty Beauty. This is more my skin tone color. I don't know what color. I want to say it's nutmeg, but this one I do even more of, and I never wipe it off after because I want to make sure my face is matte. I have oily skin, so my biggest goal is to make sure my makeup lasts, and it only lasts when I use a lot of powder. I'm just powdering the rest of my face with my Fenty Beauty and making sure my face is fully matted down. After I go back in with my curve case, I do my bronzer, my blush again, just to redeposit it in there. Sometimes if my face needs a contour, I'll do that one more time. But this is just bringing the color back in after I've matted my face out. And usually I'll do my powder one more time over this step just to make sure that the blush doesn't have any fine lines. Brows are very simple. Unless I bleach them, I don't do too much to them besides just adding some of the sticking paste from NYX. And this is what we're working with right now. My final step of blending with this Real Techniques brush. This just makes sure my face is fully together before I set it and finish the look off. I'm doing a little bit of eyeshadow on my lower lid. I don't usually do eyeshadow anymore. I kind of gotten away from it as I gotten older. But sometimes I'll like pop out with a color in my corner. And then I did some highlighter on my nose, and my mascara is L'Oreal. It's time to set my face. I use the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This is a new one for me, and I've been loving it so much. It definitely melts my face down, and I'll go back in one more time with a little bit of powder just to keep it matte again. Matting my face is the name of the game because I will oil up so quickly, and then I line my lips. This lip liner is the NYX Espresso lip liner. I use this like every day. Even if I don't have a full face makeup on, I'm gonna put some lip liner on, and I love lining my lips. It like makes me so happy. Lined lip really brings the makeup together. It's like the finishing touches to a look. And this lip gloss is from the beauty supply store. It's by NK Makeup. I love it. It's the best. It's like $2, and it really beats out any high-end lip stuff. And this is what it's looking like. I feel like my face this day was so simple yet elegant, and the pink really shows through with the blush. Line eyeshadow really pops. But this is the end of a very detailed makeup tutorial. Bye.